Thank you very much for the opportunity to engage with you this evening. I hope I'm not going to bore you to death. My passion is in process, numbers, problems, and solving them, which I guess is why some of you are here in any event. But I prefer this afternoon and this evening to interact with you around some of those things which inevitably impact on the way that you and I think about life at large. I'm hoping I'm going to take some ideas, I'm going to throw them at you, hopefully give you one or two examples. I need you to throw them back at me. I need you to tell me whether you agree or whether you disagree. And after each one of the trends that I'll share with you over the next hour, I want you to ask yourself the following question in your mind as you listen to this. Because fundamentally, business that you and I are involved in make money out of people taking decisions. Now, if I share these 6 global mega trends with you, you can do one of 3 things with them. You can either ride the wave, you can give the wave a miss, or you can insure against the wave. That's the only 3 alternatives you have. So it's do something with it, sit on your hands and do nothing, or buy some insurance against it. Because that's fundamentally the only 3 choices you have. So where does my wave analogy come from? Imagine looking at a bunch of surfers. You're standing somewhere on a beach, and there's a few surfers out there, probably about 100 or 200 meters in from the surf, and effectively they are the inexperienced surfer, there's the average surfer, and there's the experienced surfer. The inexperienced surfer can't believe he's lucky. He or she only got to stand on the board yesterday. So what they try and do with every single passing crest of wave is they try and paddle aggressively, try and jump up on the board, and more than half of the time they end up never making it more than 20 meters back to the beach. Your average surfer gets right maybe 1 out of every 4 or 5, and then your experienced surfer very effectively sits out there for an hour or 2, and he or she only picks 2 waves to ride. But when they pick the waves to ride, it's quite spectacular, and they manage to make it all the way to the beach, and then the long swim back starts. So mega trends are like waves, and you and I are like the surfers. You can either paddle for every wave, you can decide to let some of them pass you by. Unfortunately, in my analogy, the surfer can't buy insurance, but you and I can insure against those kinds of things. So what I'm going to share with you over the next few moments is just some of the mega trends. Now, we have the benefit of talking to clients. We have the benefit of interacting with big companies. And when we put together these mega trends, of which you should please not make any notes, I'm happy to share this presentation with you afterwards. The reality is that this is a considered worldview of those unescapable things that will change the way that business is done today relative to in 10 years from now. So let's sit back and quickly do those. And please, this is not preaching from the pulpit. If you don't like my trend, say so. The only thing that I will require is that you have an equally impressive counter trend to take into the as well. So there's also been some madness behind the design of the slides. The text is too small for you to read, so it gives me an opportunity to only pick up on the ones that I like. And that's by design. So if you can't read, that's not a big hassle. We'll go through them, and there are 6 of those. So let's just quickly figure out what they are, and then we'll unpack some of it. So the first one is around just where world growth will come from over the next 10 or 50 years. Will they come from the conventional places? Will they come from conventional companies doing conventional things? The answer is no. There'll be a difference in the way that the world will grow over the next 50 years. The second trend is the impact of new regulation. You and I are impacted by a regulatory regime in each one of our businesses. I can talk at length about the things that impact on my business, but in your business, I'm pretty sure that there's an increased need for you to be regulated. Why? Because society at large needs to be protected against the greedy capitalist. And what are the lessons that we've learned from the global financial crisis as far as that's concerned? That's the second trend. Sorry. The third one is around relationships between government and public enterprise. We've just seen in our own country how those relationships get managed. We have the poor man in the street that needs to pay toll fees. Suddenly it gets kicked into touch in the judiciary, which is going to rule on it, but before then the ANC and COSATU decides what the answer is. So there's a different way in which government is reacting and acting in the context of business, and you and I are going to have to Ride the wave, give the wave a miss, or insure against it. And I argue strongly that you can't insure against it, and I'm not sure that you can give it a miss.